I've been searching for the ultimate color grading program for years now, and up until this point, I've only really been using pre-made LUTs and Final Cut Pro's in-house coloring suite. And this year I'm making it a goal to ramp up production on a lot more shorter form pieces that I'm DPing and editing myself, so it was perfect timing when the Dehancer team reached out to me asking me to be a partner for their new color grading program, Dehancer 2.0 for Final Cut Pro. They asked me to do a bias-free review, so what I'm going to be doing today is just color grading a couple test clips and showing you how you can really elevate your footage using the Dehancer 2.0 plugin. If you like what you see and want to give Dehancer a try for yourself, you can get 10% off using my promo code Tetsuya at the checkout. So let's jump in. I'll show you how to use Dehancer 2.0. Okay, so here we are in my Final Cut Pro editing suite. I have 3 clips here. One of my daughter Kiyomi, one of this clock, and one of this shopping cart. These 2 clips were shot on my Fujifilm X-H2S in 4K in the F-Log profile. And this shot was actually taken on a 10-year-old camera on my old GH4. We were shooting some test shots for Jade's film, and I just like empty shopping carts, so I took this. But we'll start off with this clip. So what you're going to want to do once you have the plugin installed is drag the Dehancer Pro V2 over to your clip. And right away you're going to see Rec 709 as the default. But what we want to do is come down to choose camera. This was shot on Fuji, but you can see they have Panasonic options, Red, Canon, Blackmagic, ARRI. So pretty much anything that you're going to be shooting on, they'll have. So we'll go to Fujifilm, select the X-H2S, and we shot an F-Log. So obviously this isn't what we want for our final look, but the next thing I usually do before I touch exposure or temperature or anything like that, or the film developer, is come down to the film profile. And you can see they have so many just classic film options. Kodak Vision 3 250D is the default. I tend to like 50D a lot, and I've been using the Fuji Color Pro 400H because that's my favorite stills stock to shoot on. But I think for this one, we're gonna go with 50D. So next, I like to just apply a very basic color correction, usually just for exposure, before I actually let Dehancer do its magic, just making this a little bit of a flatter image. One of the reasons I love Dehancer is it's so easy to make small adjustments, and I'm a pretty minimalist color grader, I would say, so a lot of the adjustments that you'll be seeing me make are pretty small. So then I like to come down to the film developer, and a lot of the options start unenabled, so you want to check that it's enabled before you go in there. And contrast boost is a fun one to play with, so I'll just make it even flatter here. Push pull kind of just changes the intensity of your film stock. And scrolling down, this is where Dehancer really gets to shine. The halation effect, which when shooting analog film is when parts of the outline and highlights of your image get that sort of orange glow. That's one of the main reasons that Dehancer was so intriguing to me, because I've yet to find another really good halation emulator. So I don't always check off the halation box. As you can see, this doesn't even really do much to this image. And then the other option here that I really like is the bloom effect, which kind of just gives it a glow. But I already shot all of this with a 1/8 Pro Mist filter on my lens, so it's already got that dreamy look. One disclaimer I would give when using Dehancer is to not use it as a crutch for bad footage, right? You want to come into using this plugin with already well-lit footage. You shouldn't just slap halation on a shot and call it good. Dehancer should be used more as an elevator for already good and cinematic footage, instead of being a bandage of sorts. Film damage is always interesting, film breath and gate weave. I usually don't use these just because it's a little more invasive than I like to have on my image. Even the grain, which is probably what Dehancer is most known for, being one of the most accurate film grain emulations that's out there. And you can dial in the intensity of these two, even going to custom and getting really specific in how you want the grain to lay out, or the halation, for example. So I'll show you a quick before and after. This is before using Dehancer, and this is after. So you can see it really, depending on the film stock, obviously, and what camera you've shot on, really changes the color into a very filmic look. We just wrapped a short film on 16mm, so I can kind of attest that the film profiles they have are really quite nice. So moving on to this second shot right here, it's just a shot of a watch, and this is actually already punched in. You can see the video I was editing had a border on it, so I'm just gonna punch in even farther. Again, we're gonna just drag Dehancer on here. This was shot on a Fujifilm X-H2S F-Log. For this one, I'll also probably go to Kodak 50D, drop down the film developer, enable, and just play with the contrast a little bit and check off halation. You can see that does quite a bit here, so we might even tone that down a little bit. Go to custom and source limiter. This will just dial back the halation effect. So I think around 60 looks good. And then bloom, I think I had on the original clip as well, also looks a bit intense. So what we can do is just tone it down a little bit, somewhere around the 70s. Okay, and that's about it, honestly. Like I mentioned before, I'm a pretty minimalistic color grader, and Dehancer is just so easy and user intuitive. It doesn't really take that long to color grade anymore. So this is before Dehancer, and this is after. Moving into the last shot here is this shopping cart. I'm just going to drag over the Dehancer plugin. Let's actually see if they have the GH4. I would be surprised if they did, but this is a Panasonic camera. Okay, so we'll just say it's the GH5 since that's the closest thing. I do have a GH5, but I wanted to shoot on the GH4 just to see how it held up. Obviously, this cooks the image way too much, so we're just gonna fix that really quick. Do a bit of a base exposure correction. I was talking about how you want to bring this in with well-lit footage and everything. I actually overexposed this out of camera a little bit. So this is before Dehancer and this is after. So this is a pretty intense example of a clip, but as you can see through all of these, it really is the mood that you're changing. You know, going from something like this to this is pretty incredible with a simple plugin. I also want to mention I've been shooting on the Fujifilm X-H2S because I just love the color profiles that Fuji inherently comes with. When you're shooting on F-Log, you're not able to put in any of the pre-made recipes that Fujifilm cameras come with. But now that I have Dehancer to further help with my filmic color grading, I am able to use the F-Log profile with my X-H2S, get more color information, and color grade something really nice and nostalgic looking. Also, don't forget to check out the Dehancer color grading mobile app, where you can edit photos and videos on your phone, recreate vintage looks, realistic film grain, and of course the famous halation and bloom effects that Dehancer has so expertly crafted. So hopefully you found that very brief walkthrough helpful. Obviously, Dehancer goes way deeper than what I've just shown you. It's an extremely powerful tool for the amount that it costs, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Again, if you want to try Dehancer for yourself and support the page, you can get 10% off of your purchase using my discount code Tetsuya at the checkout. Thanks so much to Dehancer for partnering with me for this video, and thank you for watching. See you next time.